Hello, and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. We are reviewing Elegantly Wasted by INXS, their 1997 album. This is their last album before their frontman and primary vocalist, Michael Hutchence, who tragically would pass away later in 1997 after the album was released. INXS would go on to get a new frontman, but they only released one album after that in 2005. So this is kind of their last album. And it's an acceptable album, but it's nothing really special. This is the track listing, and these are the tracks I added to my playlist, which is only three of them. This album is better than it may seem, but it's still not great. Um, it's basically the same sort of songs and stuff that they had been making since the late 80s, so it isn't really anything interesting. Um, this album passes the bare minimum of not being embarrassing, but it doesn't really go any farther. The only single off the album was "Elegantly Wasted," which incidentally is also my favorite track off the album, and probably the best track of the album. Um, the main thing is that a lot of these songs are just not super interesting. They're all okay, but they're not anything. None of them are anything special, really, except for maybe "Elegantly Wasted" and some of the tracks I added to my playlist. In terms of rankings, this ranks second worst among INXS albums for me. Only higher than 1992's "Welcome to Wherever You Are." In the 90s, both INXS and also the rock genre was pretty boring in my opinion. So the rankings reflect this, with basically all of INXS's 90s albums being at the bottom. X is the only one, and that was 1990. So the main problem is that they just sort of followed the trend of rock not being interesting in the 90s. Now, despite this, this is my favorite album from 1997, and that's because the only competition it has is Duran Duran's Medazzaland, which is basically unlistenable. That album sucks. It's bad. Uh, the songs on it hurt my ears. Um, so, and Elegantly Wasted, while it's not interesting, it doesn't hurt to listen to. So, Elegantly Wasted gets the top spot. Next up is Cars Flowers' second and last album, The Fourth World. This is basically their big album as a band because they actually got a record company for this one. But the sort of commercial failure of this album led to them rebranding as Maroon 5, so it should be pretty interesting to listen to. So yeah, stay tuned for that and stay minty as always.